Would you like to learn from those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level? Best-selling author of Speakeasy and master connector Lou Diamond is here to connect you to some of the most inspiring and amazing people on this planet. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
It's been a year since I've been back to Sarasota. My grandparents are getting older, and if I had to guess, it's been a year since
Welcome
my
everyone
best
to an
friend had her
absolutely
baby
spectacular episode of
girl.
Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I am your host, Lou Diamond, and today on Thrive Loud, we have a gentleman that comes from an accomplished background, having served almost a decade in the United States Marine Corps. Today, he is forging elite agents through brand building as the legit YouTuber, creating video marketing for the modern real estate agent. Thrive Loud listeners, improvise, adapt, overcome, and join me as I bring you Will Grimes. Will, welcome to Thrive Loud.
My man, appreciate your time. Hey, that was short, effective, to the point, and appreciate it. Sometimes it gets a little almost too elaborate with introductions, and I think it misses the specific of what we're trying to do in the first place.
You'll hear how we end the show here today, and you'll know my mantra and motto as we wrap it all up. But to bring it forward here, this is a pretty cool story, and I want to bring our listeners up to speed because you're going to be the one to feature for us. Will, can you, I don't want to go all the way back to the womb, but I kind of want to understand how what you're doing now, how this focus became your gig, how this transition happened into what you're doing now.
Yeah, it's a little crazy, right? So 30 seconds of background on that is I did a little bit of pro baseball. I had a buddy die in Iraq. I ended up going to the Marine Corps for almost a decade, was a part of the infantry and a little bit of special operations for there. Then from there, government work into police work. Once I got back home, I helped a buddy build a fitness company once I got out of police work. That's where I kind of kindled a little bit of like an entrepreneurial spirit of, man, this is cool. Maybe I could do something outside the framework of someone else's thing. And to be honest, man, it was my wife's idea and one of my great buddies' idea who was already in real estate. I was looking for something new and something that I could be my own since I had learned and been number 2 in a startup. And we crushed that. We built 14 stores in 2 years, and they both said real estate, and I didn't have a better idea. Maybe they knew me better than myself. But the number one thing that stood out that I look back on it is titles didn't do anything for me. And when you get around real special operations groups and real men, real performers, it's not title, it's respect, it's value add, it's character traits, and it's just where can you create value within whatever infrastructure you're within. So when they were telling me that they thought I would do great at real estate, I wasn't thinking like, oh, what am I going to be, a soccer mom, or what am I going to carry my little briefcase around? Like, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking about what skill sets created great individuals and great leaders within real estate. And it came down to communication. It came down to managing people's emotions and people's stressors throughout contracts. It came down to having a vision to create something bigger than just personal transactions. It came down to poise and just business knowledge of how to build something bigger than yourself. And it made sense to me. And the number one thing I stayed away from was whatever image or title, I thought was attached to being a realtor, right? Because that's where this whole thing started, was real estate. And it was mostly about how to make real estate fit me, not the other way around, not trying to fit into real estate, but just seeing what it could be for me and just removing that ego and just trusting close people around me and what they valued in me and where they thought it could produce. And here we are, man. Now we do a couple $100 million in volume every year with traditional sells and buys with our team. In addition to that, we've got multiple 7-figure businesses, one including a YouTube page that I'm sure we'll talk about today. But There's the rundown, man, of where it came from, was just listening to people that know you well, not having an ego when it comes to it, and not looking superficially at an industry, but just looking at where your skill sets apply. And if you see my background, what part of me says quartz countertops and backsplashes, dude? Probably nothing, right? But it's not about that. It was like, hey, what skill sets do you have as a police officer and a Marine, as far as like how you prepare for a battle and just different things that evolve even prior to, combat or anything, just the structure of what you have to do. And then how do you communicate well and manage emotions like you do as an officer? I couldn't fit real estate better when you look at skill sets versus what am
appearance.
Hey, right? Like, you know what I'm getting at?
Well, not only I get what you're getting at. I've got so many questions in that regard. I will get to that. I'm going to table it. But I do want to hit this because you mentioned obviously you've got a real estate agency. I assume you are a broker. And where are you located? Where are you focused on all of your initiatives? Where are you working?
Yeah, so we've got a team. We're at EXP, so we've got a couple of other agents that are teamed up with us. We also have our team, and we do a couple $100 million in volume a year. Primarily, that's from creating a YouTube channel that creates a ton of influx of buyers that are coming to the state of Colorado. Last year, we did 140 deals just from YouTube alone. So a lot of it comes from that side. But man, just like a lot of folks that might be listening, I'm a realtor first. We learned how to do a ton of deals organically through our social medias, no Zillow leads, no realtor.com, just, being subject matter experts in our area within our communities. And as we learned, we kept continuing. Hey, what do we do great on social media? Well, the next thing we tackled was YouTube. It is a different monster, but it's just this continuum of progression, right? Like not getting comfortable once you have a little bit of success. And then a lot of realtors, man, they stay right here. Yeah. They get enough success. They got themselves going. They don't pursue that next thing. And before you know it, man, they end up spending 20 years doing the same one thing and they barely get by.
Let's talk about this part, the branding part of realtors. I still have this visual in my head. There was a kid that I went to high school with who became a real estate agent. And I remember driving on the highway and seeing a billboard of this particular individual over there. By the way, and I remember thinking that's actually pretty good advertising at the time, whatever it was. By the way, that billboard is probably still there. I don't know if they've replaced these billboards. It was kind of up in the sticks, up in wherever we were. But this is the part that got me. This was great branding for his image, his brand, and this was somebody to try and show themselves as a recognized, trusted person and who you can go to for real estate. As we know, time has evolved, and where every phone, everything you could find every morning, you're going to find a house, you know where it is. Tell me what you do to help other realtors stand out in how they message and market themselves. Because I'm aside from my backsplash questions, which I will get to in a minute regarding you, I want to hear, though, the tools and techniques, at least the quick Cliff Notes version of how you're helping today's marketer, because it is challenging, right? To find someone you trust, someone that knows what's going on, and that's visible and is accessible where you need it.
Let me just start with an example, right? I'll give like a 30-second example. A lot of realtors, when they have an open house coming up, either it's their listing or someone's letting them do an open house at their listing, right? Typically what you'll see is a realtor coming on and doing a selfie video and, hey, look at me, right? Checking the box. I'm busy. I'm getting ready to start my open house. And then they do this Minecraft walk through the open house. Out of all the homes we've sold and out of the several 100,000 followers I have on social, I've never had a consumer buy one of my properties from social, right? But we want to look busy, so we feel like we have to do that. I'll give you an example of what my open house video looks like, right? I'll say things like, hey guys, happy Thursday. We're getting ready to go live on this open house in 2 days. We just went live on the market here at 123 Paradise Boulevard. If you have any questions, let me know. But more importantly, before we get into the home, what I want to talk to you guys about are the top 3 questions these sellers had in regards to making sure that they're not only competitive in their neighborhood, but in their area, and how they can be most proactive in getting buyers to be attracted to their home. And then I'll cover those top 3 questions. And I'll say things like, hey, so listen, whether you're working with me or with someone else, make sure you understand that if you're a buyer right now and you don't think it's possible because interest rates are a little bit higher, here's what sellers are willing to do for you. And if you're a seller right now, whether you're working with me or with someone else, make sure you're asking yourself the same great questions, because it's not just about what your home looks like and that it's appealing and it smells good. These are all great things, but here's what we can do. And here's how we can structure our offers as sellers to be more competitive for buyers. Hope you guys have a great Thursday. If you need something from me, please DM me or throw a comment below. So what I'm getting at, brother, is I'm educating and bringing value to the consumer, whether they're a seller or a buyer. And I'm saying a call to action. Hey, whether you're working with me or with someone else, I'd love to help you. But if you're working with someone else, no problem. Just make sure we're covering these boxes. You're the product, not this open house.
Right.
Okay. Not this just closed, not this listing. You're the product. So you got to find ways of understanding. There's about 30,000 different things we do for customers, whether it's a seller or a buyer throughout the process. And each step along the way, those are all separate videos you could be making on social media to bring education and value to a consumer and they see you as the product, right? And dude, I started this early on when I came from that fitness background. We did a lot of events and a lot of fitness education within our culture at these brick and mortar stores. When I brought that almost like an industry disruptor, dude, I did 34 deals off of my Facebook my first year in real estate, which I'm not saying I'm breaking any records, but 34 deals just off of Facebook. It just goes to show you, no matter how successful you are, look how much you're leaving on the table, because all you're posting are closing photos and Minecraft walks through your listings. It's not valuable to a consumer. What is your abilities. And most realtors, man, that are listening to this or seeking further education, they're pretty good at what they do. They're just not good at exposing it, right? So whether it's someone I coach individually, by the way, anyone I coach, they're making over $500,000 a year. Mm-hmm. That's where we've got them to, right? It's just about not only making them a better practitioner, but a lot of times, man, they're pretty good at being practitioners. It's not them not understanding, how do I market myself to create more for myself?
By the way, I love this. Showing yourself as the expert is the way you're building trust with the potential customer, with the potential seller, whoever it might be. And obviously, it brings people to you on every single process. I love that problem-solving technique. I want to talk about the component of the business itself, which is challenging, right? Because I always joke about this. In the world of real estate, where we are carving out a little piece of land, realtors can get a little bit possessive, territorial in possessing out their areas, their fiefdoms, their customers, their properties, and stuff like that. And I've always found that always worked against the realtor. I always found that if they're like, I'm the one who does this property or whatever it is, show me the brilliance and show me the relationship and show me your expertise and what you're going to do for me, versus that this area expert. When you were coming into this industry and you were taking this on, I am sure you saw all of this, and I love the angle you took. You said, I'm going to show you how to do this process better. Have you been able to flip those that you probably never thought could be flipped? And the initial challenge you felt when you first got into the space, anytime you're coming in as a newcomer, I'd love to hear that little beginning story, that origin story.
Yeah. So are we talking about other agents that have joined us, like joined our team or whatnot? Like
who probably said, there's no way in the world I'm going over there, or more notably, that almost got possessive of you trying to fight into their place. This is my territory, my client, my thing, like that. Tell me, I've seen it. I know you've seen it. It's a competitive market out there.
It is. I will say that, like, I probably have a little bit of a command presence. If people are not liking me in their space, I don't hear it to my face. It's probably not quiet. But as far as like converting agents that, that I flipped them, and they might not have been flippable. They flip themselves, man. Like Elon and I, my business partner, we run events every single month in person. We're running webinars every other week that are all new every other week. And we're just teaching agents what we do. I've never made a cold call to attract agents. So out of the 200 agents we have that have joined us in the past 18 months, man, I've never made one phone call to recruit anybody. It's what we call agent attraction. We're going to throw educational events every month. We're going to throw webinars bi-weekly. We're going to be on podcasts giving tips out for free. And we're just looking for our people, man, and people that reach out in that call that are interested in building a brand and a business. And the majority of them are large team owners. We just grabbed two of the biggest vice presidents from Century 21 from California, the number one team in the world from that is also housed in California. They're also joining. The biggest benefit to our platform is it gives us a way to reach as many realtors as possible, teach as much, influence enough, but you're also compensated for it. And it's a great model. But man, I'm not trying to flip anybody. If they're not for me, that's completely okay, because you and I both know there's 1,000 ways to win in real estate. And whether it's agent attraction and building your rev share, whatever it may be, like I love that because from my Marine Corps background, I love influence and leadership. And whether it's large teams or the individual agent, I want to help. So that fits me, and it fits a lot of folks as well, but not some, right? So, but man, a lot have flipped, but do they flip themselves? And then when it comes to other agents not liking me in their territory, to be honest with you, brother, I haven't heard one agent complain to me or about me as far as like just our marketing that's been out there. I'm sure there is some. I'm so forward thinking. I'm so focused on our brand and what we're doing. I don't know if I slowed down to hear it. Yeah.
I was going to ask the backsplash question. The first time you actually had to learn about the specifics of these things. How familiar were you with real estate at all? It was the new thing to go to. Your partner was convincing you, but obviously, look, like anything else, you have teachers, you have learners, you have to understand certain things. What was your familiarity?
Yeah, man, zero. I wasn't familiar with real estate, but I was familiar with people. Coming from a police officer background, and I studied some law in college, like I understood contracts pretty well, as in I know how to read legal contracts, right? Like I know how they use words. I know what shall means, and there's little subtleties that most people don't pick up on. So I learned contracts really well. I learned. I mean, if you look at my background from Marine Corps stuff, man, and police work, there's an abundance of knowledge and capacity you have to just be a practitioner. And part of being a great practitioner on the Marine Corps side or police side is your knowledge and ability to execute said knowledge, right? So as great as I am at talking to people and managing emotions and planning ahead and creating systems and processes for that, if I don't know what I'm doing as a licensee, I'm going to have a limited ability. I'm just going to be more of a bullshitter than anything. And there's a big difference between silver-tongued, bullshitters that can just talk their way in and out of things versus real professionals that, I don't need a script, and it doesn't matter what your objection is. I've got real knowledge and experience that can just have a conversation. There's no one line I'm trying to use to overcome someone's objection. What I'm really trying to do is develop rapport and make sure that we're comfortable speaking to each other so we can have a conversation about some of your obstacles or some of your hesitancies. And a lot of times what gets sold is, hey, if someone says this, you say that. Imagine if you told a Marine deploying to war, hey, if someone pops out here, okay, do this. But what if they pop out somewhere else? You created a robot that doesn't know how to think, right? In real estate, it's not so much, hey, if they say this, you say that. I'm not looking for that. If they can't sit down and have a conversation with me, if we don't have rapport, if they don't know that my intent is to do right and do well by them, they're not comfortable to speak to me anyway. But when they are comfortable, man, we can lay out a game plan and whatever obstacles or objections that they have. And listen, here's the deal. Here's what's not talked about a lot. Some people's objections, they're fucking valid, dude. They're valid. And it's not about overcoming the objection. It's about diving in, committing to that objection, and figuring out if there's a game plan to overcome it. And sometimes there's not, and that's okay. And if that means that they sell 6 months from now or a year from now, I'd rather have rapport and make sure I'm doing things right, I'm doing right by people, than convincing a situation, man. It's just not good for your brand. It's not good for referrals. There's no respect behind it. So, man, I think there's just a mile deep when it comes to getting past. You want to get great at overcoming objections, know what the heck you're talking about. Because sometimes there are just small objections that are just assumptions that are easy to handle. Yes, you can overcome them. But it's not because I memorized a rebuttal. It's because I'm a master of my craft and I'd spent hours and hours just learning real estate and participating in classes. So I was a great practitioner.
Love it. I was going to ask this.
I know backsplashes really well. I know design centers. Dude, I got a great eye for design. We probably do 30 new builds a year out of the 140, 150 homes we do a year. We're probably at 30 or 40 new builds. So we know those contracts well. We know design centers. We know what looks good. Man, I'm awesome at it. But when you first meet me, like, look at me, man. It looks like
I was gonna say but by the way, it is a great thing that you're showing your knowledge, and obviously you can't judge a book by its cover. And on the same sense, it's that presence that gets you. And by the way, they won't forget you. I know that sounds really important, right?
Well, brother, it's because of video, man. Yeah. All the YouTube videos we've got that are out there, all the social media videos we've done, the number one thing you can do outside of meeting people in person, and sometimes it's better than in person, because maybe I only got 30 minutes to talk to you, but if you want to go binge watch my YouTube channel, you could watch me for 30 hours, right? So maybe video's even better, but the point is people get an opportunity to know, like, and trust you through video and just feel your intent and feel how you articulate. And what maybe on the surface, if you've never met me, I look a certain way, but when you hear me speak and you absorb our content, most people, they're just like, oh, Will's just a big teddy bear. And they're right, man. Like, there's, you know what I mean? But it's the power of video that lets you truly be yourself, that allows you to attract your like clients.
I'm going to get back to the video in a second. I want to hit something so you've been doing this for how many years have you been doing real estate specifically?
6.5.
Okay, 6.5. You've been in one of the biggest booms in real estate we've seen in a long time. I've been around a little longer than you. And there are ups and downs in different markets. And probably, I would argue, your content is more important when things start to go sideways or in the reverse direction on how to think about all these things. Talk to me about the way that you're helping people to prepare, whether it's brokers, dealers, whoever it is, the ups and downs of how to manage being a realtor in real estate in these times. Because like, look, you can have win after win after win after win, and then there could be a long ass dearth, if you would, of nothing. Help understand when that point gets to you, how you're going to help other people in communicating that level of content.
Well, I mean, it's just building the infrastructure, man. It's, through like some of our software, what we call Agent HQ, it's building out their infrastructure with how they actually interact with prior clients. Yeah. The number one thing agents don't do that's most doable is they just don't operate their CRM very well. They're not good at follow-up. They're not good with client relationships. They're just not good at that. Secondly, they don't have enough reach when it comes to just getting in front of more clients, right? It's typically sphere-based or somewhat referral-based, but they're just mildly interesting at referral-based. In addition to that, they're one-dimensional when it comes to the market. When someone asks me, like, hey, how's the market? I say, which one? There's investment properties that we do, right? There's ways that you can, you guys can flip and invest in your own properties. You can hold them. There's so many different things that you can do with your license and the knowledge you have with it and be compensated when you're buying it, right? And save money when you're selling it. If you decide to sell it, they're just limited and one-dimensional at what they actually do in real estate. Typically, it's I just help people sell or buy, or I'm a buyer specialist or a seller specialist. And all this is saying, man, is that your reach is just super limited. And, my analogy for that would be if you're in a raft or a little tugboat out in the ocean, man, and waves start hitting, how much are you going to rock? Yeah. If you're in a huge cruise ship, how much are those waves going to affect that cruise ship? There's got to be a lot of bad things going on before that cruise ship is affected because of how well and how big it's built. Well, how well and how big is your business built, right? Because whether it's coaching, whether it's online courses that we sell, whether it's our CRM, whether it's our investment properties, whether it's our rev share and ownership of our company, whether it's our personal transactions, right? Like there's 6 to 7 lanes of income that we have. And anytime things get hard, coaching tends to increase, course sales tend to increase. And there's just a way to be a lot more dynamic with how you've built. But I'll tell you this much, sometimes folks build when there's, I guess the synopsis I have is, or what I tell people is, people don't change until it's too painful not to. To me, that's the obvious one, right? I'll do whatever it takes to win. And typically they will, until they create just enough breathing room to get out of the woods. They've got a couple deals coming in and then they breathe. And then whatever they did to get themselves there, they stop doing those things. Yep. And not only do they stop doing those things, they don't do anything in continuum. Hey, now that I'm at level 1, I should be maintaining level 1 and building level 2, right? And then maintaining levels 1 and 2 and building number 3. Not only do they not even just maintain and they start going backwards until they get dehydrated again, they're not building the rest of the infrastructure. And that's the most dangerous part, is when agents have a little bit of time to breathe, right? And if we were fighting obesity, brother, what's the best way to do that? Well, education and being proactive so no one's ever obese in the first place. That would be the best way to fight it, correct? Is that no one's ever obese in the first place. You could say the same thing about, who knows? Same thing in your real estate company. If you're waiting until you are in that dire of a situation and now you'll do whatever it takes, you're asking for a painkiller, not a cure. You're looking for a painkiller. I just need a deal. I just need a deal. And something I started saying no to a long time ago, man, is I'm not going to coach people through roller coasters anymore. Even if you're in a bad spot, I got to have you coachable and able to build infrastructure. And if you're doing well right now, that's the number one thing. That's the number one reason you should be diving into, okay, I need to learn how to work on my business, not just in my business, because I have deals coming in. I can breathe. I am good. I should be building my future now, versus typically people don't get proactive until they're in that pain state. But when you're in the pain state and somebody's talking to you about a long-term business plan and cure, and you'll just take whatever you can to make the pain go away, we're not congruent. And it just creates friction there, right?
Yeah. I love asking content providers this question. I want to hear where you go here. You are giving a gift in creating all of this incredible content, your courses, your educational videos, the free stuff, the pay for stuff, whatever it is. You are literally helping people, and there's a gift of that content that's going out there. Other than the revenue that you take in from some of this content, there's a happy accident that you receive from creating this content for yourself, for your soul, for your heart. I would love to hear, Will, what that special accident, happy accident is in having all this content that you've created that you brought back to you. What has it done for you, Will Grimes, the individual?
Yeah, man, mine's probably a little different, and I hope I'm understanding your question, appropriately. But my thing is, and I think, matter of fact, I'll pull it up. 'Cause I think I've got it on not my Instagram, maybe my Instagram, but for sure my Facebook. It says, if you aren't taking your life experiences and making people better, who cares what you've done?
Mm.
And like that's something that comes from my Marine Corps background. I had the opportunity to serve with giants, and there are some men, brother, that I've learned from and had the experience to be a part of that a lot of folks might not ever meet or know even exist. And then they're the most incredible human beings. And what I was able to gain by serving with them or below them, if they were part of my chain of command, there's always been something important about serving and giving, and it not necessarily, even though sometimes it can be the most selfish thing you do, because it does feel good to give that. It also just makes you feel like you're important, and that, hey, whatever value I've got, whether it's on a scale of 1 to 10, whether my value is a 1 or all the way at a 10. Well, if it's a 1, I can help 1s or below. If I'm at a 3 out of 10, I can help 3s and below. It's never too soon to help, brother. And it just almost doesn't matter how great you are, what you do, if you don't give it, right? But it comes from a service base. It comes from if people were to understand the Marine Corps, those guys won't lie to you, man. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how cool people think you are. If one of my peers thinks I'm full of shit or thinks I'm starting to turn into a charlatan or a showman or, only trying to sell some things and not really building value, you're just pretending to so you can sell something, they're going to call you out.
So I'll follow it up to make it more direct. What is the feeling you feel when you know you've created this content and people are appreciating it? What does that mean to you?
Value. I feel important. Yeah. I mean, you ever been flat broke, man? Or you ever been lost and somebody pointed you in the right direction and gave you an opportunity?
Yeah.
I mean, when I was first, I guess what we haven't talked about is like when I was first transitioning out of fitness, being number 2 in a company over to real estate, man, like I maybe had 10 grand in the bank. I thought, I was making decent money, but I was spending every dime. Long story short, man, I leave this fitness company and I get I've got that uninformed optimism. I'm so excited. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm doing this thing. And dude, we had to go to this wedding in San Diego shortly after I left this fitness company. And I went broke between spending tickets on this wedding. Okay. And paying for my cars. Dude, I go broke really quick. And I end up sleeping in my buddy's mom's old Y2K pantry in her basement because I was flat broke. I couldn't afford my apartment. And my girlfriend, now wife, girlfriend at the time, dude, she bought my online course. She just believed in me, man. I was kind of doubting myself. I'm like, no, I decided I'm going to do it. And she's like, well, great, because I already bought your course. And she was a single mom at the time, right? Like a lot of people have a lot of stigmas or a lot of things that they might pass judgment toward a single mom or think that they're not educated or they're not worthy of some things. There's just a cloud over single moms, and it's unwarranted and it's disgusting. But brother, that was the biggest $300 someone had ever just given me and believed in me. You just never know where it's going to hit or who it's going to hit, or no matter how well you think someone's doing, maybe they're not. But if someone can just believe in me or give me a chance, maybe even believe in me a little bit more than I'm believing in myself in a moment. Because when I was peeling into real estate, brother, I was leaving behind all these accreditations that seem so romantic and so awesome. They were also my identity. Yeah. So now I'm going into something new. Dude, I'm super insecure, and there's just so much you have to do to reestablish. And it took me a while to allocate those tools from those fields into real estate and realize that the same guy that made this can be the same guy that makes this. In the beginning, you're not, man. You're lost. And there's just never a time where it's not important to try to offer some help. And man, there's been a handful of real estate people that I've bought their course. I bought their license for them. I don't mention it. It's not important. I don't post about it. And then just everything that we do for agents, it's like, man, I want to know I leave the ball in their court. I want to turn every stone for them. I can't do the work for them, but it does feel good to pay it forward to people that really do use it, knowing that, hey, man, no matter how accomplished I was in life, even I needed a little bit of help sometimes, and like, hey, come with your gloves on, don't come with your hand out, was what my buddy Brian Shantosh would say. When people are willing to help you, don't just expect them to do the work for you. But isn't it nice, man, when someone can just help you out a bit or throw you a favor? I don't think I've ever forgotten what that felt like, man. I just don't. And being able to do that, it's not that agents don't make you mad sometimes, or it's not that agents aren't better than they should be because you believe in them more than they believe in themselves. And there's things that just get hard with leadership. But when it's, leadership's a religion to me, man. It's not the thing I market. It's not the thing that makes money. There's a creed and a responsibility to leadership that you have that's embedded in you from the Marine Corps on. And there's a way to go about it, and there's a way to be respected when you do it. And when it's something that you see literally like a religion that you have, you do feel like you serve, and you do feel like you give people opportunity.
Some people can relate to this, and you specifically as a Marine. The show's called Thrive Loud because you have been taking your career and moving onward and upward, something that you do each and every day. And those that do that and know and appreciate it are those that truly thrive loud. So go you, Will Grimes. All right, let's do the admin part of the show, my brother. Share with the listeners all the places people can find you, whether it's the legit YouTube or stuff, any of the stuff you want to promote, wherever it is, everything. This is the window to do it. We'll put it in the show notes, gets more engagement when they hear it from you.
100%. You guys can Google Will Grimes if you like. You can find it there. The number one place I love, brother, I don't know if you guys show video.
Yeah.
If you guys throw me
this is a video right here. We're recording it.
Yeah. If you guys throw a message to Will Grimes on Instagram, right? Like, I literally answer everybody there. Sometimes things go into filters, but if you throw me a follow or a DM, I'll be able to see it. I literally reply to 100% of people there. If you're looking, whether it's you're looking for our CRM and things that we've created, whether you're interested in coaching, whether you're interested in some of our free webinars, whatever it is, if you message me there, I can develop a relationship with you. We can have a conversation. I can figure out what you're looking for, and I can just send you anything specific based off of your needs. But dude, I love when people reach out. I love having that relationship with them, even if it's just via social media, to just give them the right things that they're looking for based off of their pain points and where I feel like I can help. So honestly, man, just Will_Grimes on Instagram. Throw it a message. I dare you. And if I don't respond, I owe you lunch. But I mark my word, you're going to see me respond.
I'm not going to miss out on a free lunch, but I know he's going to respond because I'm going to send him a message anyway.
Well, dude, I was already 10 minutes late to you. Like, I think I already owe you plenty of lunch, brother.
You owe me nothing. Here's what you did owe me. We're going to go down Fun Street. So you're going to share with the listeners all the fun things that matter to you. We call it the Speakeasy Pub Crawl. But before we do that, you shared with me one thing that most people don't know about you. Can you share? Do you remember what that was? Remember what you shared with me? What that thing is?
I don't remember what I shared. So you tell me what I shared, but I got two more that
you
I think
said that you are also a musician.
That is what I shared. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. So I was a percussionist growing up. My mom played music for Columbia Records, and I grew up around theater and around music. And my mom was a hippie. We weren't allowed to have guns in the house. Like, everything I turned out to be was not the intention, right? Like, I don't know if there's a parent lesson in there, but dude, my mom was amazing. She passed away 2 years ago, unfortunately. But the other thing I was going to mention, in addition to musician, being a percussionist, is that I'm a mama's boy.
Oh, there you go. I could see that. Yeah. I mean, that's why you're a successful realtor, without a doubt. And I could the teddy bear thing. I'm starting to believe. I'm getting all that. So
it could be. My mom's just, dude. And I'll tell you what, man. Like, when my mom was sending me, when I told her I was going to the Marine Corps, this was end of 04, 05. The war was at its, it was getting hot, man. You telling your mom you're going to the Marine Corps infantry during that time. It's like, they know what that is. And she never once tried to talk me out of it. And I didn't understand that level of love and strength until I became a father. And I already know I'm not as good of a father as she is as a mother, because if my boys or my daughter said something, I'd say, sit down. We're going to talk. No, you're not. Sit down. Like, I don't know if I could do this, have the strength that my mom did. And she believed in me. I've cried to my mom. I've confided in her, and she just never stopped believing in me, man. And there's such, little boys need their moms, buddy, and dads, little girls need their dads, but I'm a mama's boy through and through. I appreciate everything that she was to me, man. And most people might not think it, because I probably look like some tough guy, but I'll tell you what, moms can build some tough dudes.
I like it. Here we go. We're going to do the speed round thing here. I'm going to ask you things. These are all the fun stops that Will Grimes is familiar with on Fun Street. This is his pub crawl. All these places you go to all relate to him. Here we go. A movie that if it's on, you got to sit down and rewatch because it's one of your favorites.
Oh, are we talking comedy or drama, or
whatever it is? I don't care. It's whatever movie's on. Just it's on. Right, that's the one that.
It's Dumb and Dumber, or it's The Last Samurai.
Oh, those are both great. Oh, I thought you did both. You got the comedy Dumb and Dumber. Yeah. Just when I think you can't be any dumber, you
go and totally redeem it.
Turn around yourself. That's still my favorite. A song of late that you've been hearing, or that you jam, that you love to listen to whenever it comes on.
It's been a year.
It's been a year. Who's that? Who performs that?
Man, I'm going to look it up because I know I don't want to keep you too long. I'm going to look it up for you right now.
Well, mostly because you'll save my producers the time of figuring it out before they play it on the under music in the episode.
Yeah, it's a female. She country. So
it's
I
been
got
a
her
year.
right here.
Okay, it's country.
Ashley.
Oh, love it. Okay, I already know it this time. I know the time. Favorite food that's not a dessert?
Carbs. What kind of question is that, man? Like pizza, pretzels. Like, look at me, dude.
Some
like,
people I know, but some people you won't believe what it is. A favorite dessert?
Carbs. Carbs.
Okay,
like
we're getting a balance.
Carbs with sugar on it. I'll tell you what. I had
Donuts.
this ice cream in Estes Park the other day. It was called wedding cake. I think it's just some type of like sugar cream, ice cream. Like I'm a sucker for like a good ice cream or just any type of carb with sugar on it. So sweet rolls, donuts, and then if it's not a dessert, it's pizza or something. It's carbs, man. You know, the worst question people give me is like, "Hey, man, like, what's your diet like?" Like,
you're like carbs,
dude. Look at me. Like, what do you think, bro? Like, if it's food, I'll eat it.
An activity you wish you did more of?
Ooh, baseball, and I'm starting to do more of it now. I've got a buddy that his name's Ryan. He was a catcher with the Boston Red Sox, won a World Series, and he's a
Ryan's been a guest on the show. If I think who it is,
Ryan. Ryan Lavernway.
Yeah. Ryan was on a few months back. Love him.
He's a good guy, man. Won a World Series with the Red Sox, and he's in business, he's in coaching, he's in leadership. So he's actually out here in Colorado with me.
Yep.
Him and I met through a mutual friend, and we're collabing on business and just techniques. But I hit him up one day and just said, "Hey, man, you ever miss playing catch?" And he didn't even answer yes or no. He said, "I'll come play catch with you." Because just baseball guy to bet, he knew exactly what I was getting at. And him and I are going to start doing more just business link ups and chatting and stuff over just getting back into the game.
We'll do a small world. Tell him I said hello, and we'll make sure we give him a shout out here on the episode and tag him as well.
100%.
Okay. An activity you wish you did less of?
I don't know if I have one, man.
I like it because you seem like a guy that's doing what you're doing.
Dude, I wake up. I wish I didn't have to do as much cardio to stay lean. How about that? Like,
there you go. That's
I like cardio when I'm done because you feel good that you did it. But when you're doing it, I don't know, man. It's just I wish I could do less but still have the same benefit, but you can't.
Listeners need to know I'm laughing and turning red because he's so spot on this. Okay. A new activity, one you've recently tried that was new to you, that you like so much you want to tell everybody else to try.
Coaching my kids.
In any sport or just any?
So my boys are a little bit too young. They're 5 and 1.5, but my daughter's 14. She's great at volleyball. She's pretty fit. She's a captain of her club team right now. And we're just now starting to get into a competitive mindset. I had to see enough from her. Like, you can't force your kids to be competitive. If they're not in it for that reason, just let them have fun with their sports. But she's really starting to get competitive, and she's got a good mindset for wanting to compete at the highest level. So now, like, her and I get to share some good sweats, some good hard workouts, some ones that'll just drag you into deep water.
Yeah.
That'll answer some questions for yourself, and it's fun to deliver those gifts to youth. But it's also your daughter. But there's just some fun dynamic when it comes to getting it. As much as I miss my kids being little, like her being little, I've got little sons, so I still enjoy it. But there's this next chapter I get with her that as much as I miss her being little, I still enjoy this part. And it's different from coaching other folks that I coach performance on. It's your kid, right? So it's fun to see that dynamic.
Will, if I could snap my fingers and you could be anywhere in the world, where are you?
I'm either right here with my kids, buddy, or I wish I could see my mom.
Awesome. Will Grimes. Everybody check it out, man. From the legit YouTuber, all the links he's got here. He's given the where to find him on Instagram, everything. Hey, man, improvise, adapt, overcome, and keep doing what you're doing, my friend. Great stuff. You inspire me in a lot of areas, and I think everyone's got to check out these videos. He really does bring the education and value right up front for you to check out. So really appreciate you, man, and thanks for coming on.
My man, thank you.
To all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And remember, keep moving onward and upward, and be brief, be bright, be gone.
It's damn sure been the best one. So cheers to 365 of record lows and record highs, loving and losing, fun and confusing, praying and shifting gears. For the minute you got is probably a lot more than you wanna hear. If you're hanging around, I can tell you about Say it's been a year. Yeah, it's been a year.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.